Hey guys, welcome back to the Kings of Legacy show. It's Rich James Jackson here, and I'm super pumped to have you here with me today. Today, we are tackling a beast that we all wrestle with, and it's stress. But here's the twist: we're not just going to be talking about beating stress, we're going to be flipping the script and turning it into our strength. How good! Now, let's dig into something that often walks hand in hand with stress, and it's the thing that we like to call anxiety. You see, anxiety itself, it thrives in the gaps of inaction, and it loves to play in the field of what ifs and maybes. When we're active, when we're engaged in doing something meaningful or productive, anxiety often takes a back seat. It's when we pause, it's when we overthink, it's when we dwell on the uncertainties of life that anxiety really starts to ramp up. It's really crucial to recognize this interplay because the way we handle stress can directly influence our experience with anxiety or experience of anxiety. Taking action, especially purposeful action, can be a powerful cure for anxiety. It shifts your focus and our focus from worrying about potential outcomes to engaging with the present. But before we delve into the strategies to handle stress, let's understand what stress really is. This is key. Have a little bit of a deeper understanding around this. It's our body's response to challenges or demands. And essentially, a bit of stress can actually be motivating, but too much can knock us off our game. It can mess around with our health. It can mess around with our minds. It can wreak havoc in our relationships. So, how do we deal with it effectively? Let's break it down, and hopefully, a couple of these tips you can implement straight away. One of these, the first one I've got on my sheet here today, is something that I feel like I've only just started to, I guess, adopt in my own routine myself, and it's probably only been these last 12 months or so I've actually been incorporating this, and it's a breathing technique. And it's super simple, and you're like, yeah, Rich, whatever, it's just breathing. But just test this out. Just try it out. Just give it a go. Just trust me for once. Box breathing. So this technique involves breathing in for 4 seconds. I do it through my nose. So breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. So 4 seconds just completely holding. Breathe out for 4 seconds. I'd go straight back out through my nose. And hold for 4 seconds and repeating that process. And it's an instant way to dial down your stress and bring your focus back to the present. I can't recommend this one enough, especially if you feel like you've hit that peak. Focus on that box breathing. The next one I want to talk about today is routine and exercise, and establishing a solid routine and incorporating regular exercise can significantly reduce your stress levels. It's one of the first things that normally people kick to the side when their stress levels are really high. And it's the question I asked is like, oh, how have we had any exercise? Have we had any fresh air? And normally the response is no. And that's when the stress levels are hitting their peaks. And having routine and exercise incorporated into your life, it gives you structure. It gets those feel good hormones firing. It gets those feel good endorphins flowing. But it doesn't mean that you need to be just doesn't mean that you need to be grinding it out in the gym for 2 hours in one stint. It can be something as simple as doing like a 20-minute walk along the beach or just a 20-minute walk around the block. Adding that into your routine. It's about finding something that works for you. I've recently taken up pickleball, and it's a kind of like a cool mix between table tennis and tennis, suitable for all ages, and I love it because it's not just about getting a good sweat on, which you do, but it's also got strategy in there. It keeps me staying agile. It's improving my coordination, my speed, my timing. So find something that works for you and make it part of your life. And it's really important to actually find something that you enjoy. That's the key part. Someone else's routine might be great, but great for them, not great for you. Next up, we have mindfulness and meditation. And guys, these are not just buzzwords. They're proven methods to combat stress. Being mindful and meditating helps you stay grounded and centered, giving you a sense of control over your thoughts and, most importantly, your reactions. One thing that I do on a daily basis is a quick visualization. I find a place that I can be in complete silence. I close my eyes, and this normally takes 3 to 5 minutes. And I essentially go to the end of this year. And what I'm doing is I'm literally seeing, feeling, hearing, even smelling all the things in that moment. I'm actually living that moment in my mind. And essentially, what I do here is that I'm practicing what I'm going to be actually doing in the future, and it brings my mind back to where I'm heading. It helps me de-stress by realizing what all these things that I'm working on are taking me, where they're taking me. So I cannot recommend doing some form of mindfulness, some form of meditation, some form of visualization every single day. It's had a profound effect on me. Next up, healthy boundaries. Learning to set healthy boundaries is crucial. It's about knowing your limits and not overcommitting yourself. This is one of the things that pops up time and time again with the guys that we work with. And it's something I hear a lot. They struggle to set clear boundaries. Some just end up saying yes to everything and just taking loads of things on board, or they just say, yeah, it's all good, don't worry. And they essentially are loading themselves up with tasks. And in the moment, it doesn't feel stressful, but essentially when they're trying to juggle like a million different things in their personal and professional life in one day, and then they start to come up short, that's when the stress starts to really kick in. That's when the stress starts to build up, and either they end up letting their family down, or they start missing some key requirements in their work. As we wrap up today's show, guys, on transforming stress into strength, remember that stress doesn't have to be your enemy. With the right mindset and tools, it can become a catalyst for growth and resilience. And as Hans Selye, the pioneering stress researcher, once said, it's not stress that kills us, it's our reaction to it. I think this quote really hits home at the core of today's discussion, and it's all about how we respond and how we manage the stress that comes up in our lives. So my question to you on coming to the end of this show today is, like, how are you dealing with your stress? On a scale of 1 to 10, how stressed are you at the moment? 0 being like your total zen, and 10 being feeling like you're in utter chaos at the minute. How is that going for you? I'd love to hear it. Feel free to drop me a message. And before you go, don't forget, if today's episode struck a chord with you, please share it on Instagram and tag me in it at Rich James Jackson. Let's spread the word of turning stress into a source of strength. Remember, fuck small talk. Choo! Life's too short for it. Let's make every moment count. Catch you in the next episode, and until then, stay strong and turn that stress into your superpower.